Alright, I think it's finally time to find out what's in the box. So, kind of off camera, I have been working a ton on this car, so this is literally an entire day's worth of work. Is literally just getting the headlights in and getting the hood pins on. So it actually took a lot of work because I had to fix a ton of overspray issues in there, blocking all that stuff out with some trim paint. We repainted the headlight bezels, polished the headlights, polished the turn signals, polished the outer. Well, these aren't turn signals. I think they're just running lights. Did nothing with the LED fog lights. And I think it's finally time to add a little bit of character to the car. I'm also working on, got to get those painted, repainted the trim around the windshield. Windshield is coming on Thursday, so I got that nice and prepped. So those can go on immediately after I get the windshield installed. The battery compartment area still needs a little bit more cleaning, a little bit more wiping down. I'm still getting a lot of dust from a lot of stuff. So I got to finish cleaning this up, get the battery installed. That way I can figure out the wiring for the headlights, because my daytime running lights, they just kind of rip the wires out. So I got to rewire the running lights again, test the headlights, make sure they still work, because they have been bouncing around for a year. So got to test those out, got to test all my bulbs out. Same with the taillights. I even got those reinstalled along with the Steeda spoiler. So in the box we have a legit Maker's Garage front lip for my car. Been wanting one of these for a very long time, so I've had this thing kind of stashed away for a while. So today we'll go ahead, install it, see how much of a pain it is to install, especially because I do have cut fenders, so we might have to trim this one. I'm not sure, because those front fender extensions are cut on my car. Damn, just the car looks so good with the new headlights, or with the refresh headlights. So all right, let's get this thing unboxed, get it on the car, and see how it looks. Dude, and then just check this out. These are the instructions for the front lip kit. This thing looks like a legit poster. I mean, like, how sick is that? This they honestly should just send you this blown up so you can put it on your wall. But shit, I might even put this on my wall. It looks that nice. So looks like we got a lot of hardware. So we're gonna need a drill, step drill bit, ratchet, socket sets, locking clamps, mini clamps, some U-nuts and bolts. Looks like I got a lot of that stuff anyway, so should be fairly easy to figure this out. So looks like it's just start from the center, work our way out with the holes, putting those little U-clips in there, and then just bolting it in place. So it shouldn't be too terrible of an install process. So starting off with the hardware kit, and you just gotta appreciate just the amount of effort that they put it into, just like their product, to make sure everything is nice and neat in there. So I do have it kind of mocked up, just like the instructions say. Use a jack, and that's just gonna look perfect for the car. So it'll just give it that nice little bit of arrow in the front, just to give it that look. I think I will be having to play a little bit over here with the end caps, just because, yeah. So that's about how much I'm gonna need to cut on it afterwards. So I still have not decided how I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna go ahead and mount it first and decide on that later. So starting off, I got the center hole lined up with one of those center little lateral supports there, and then I'll go ahead and just start drilling out my holes. Okay, so using a piece of tape, I was able to get all the holes marked out, and now just to drill them out. So with help of a pilot bit, I was able to pre-drill the holes, and now to drill them out with a step bit to the correct size. Now after you have all your holes drilled, here's going to be where you install your hardware. So Makers actually provides a ton of these. I still have like probably at least another 6 or 7 left over, which is going to be great for future projects. But these are essentially kind of like little threaded clip-on metal pieces. I forget what the name of those are, but be prepared to use a small hammer just to kind of hammer them on. They fit really tight. So next step is to now bolt the front lip up onto the car through those holes you just drilled. So we're just going to use a little 10mm. I got a little electric ratchet to help with the easy to get ones. Some of them you are going to have to go old school with a wrench. Now, be careful not to over torque these, because again, this is just thin sheet metal and it's just plastic, so you don't have to go crazy. And after a million screws, you should have something like this. So this thing is actually very well not only made, but secured to the bumper. There is a ton of fixed points on that bumper. So I know this splitter's not going to go anywhere unless I literally shove it into a ditch. So next step is to trim these edges and get these corners essentially situated. Just because my car is flared out, I do run some very wide tires. These are 315 Advance tires. So I need to do a little bit of trimming here. Just follow this curvature and then try and fix it somehow to the edge. All right, so after cutting this little piece, I actually ended up doing a little test pass with an angle grinder just to see how the material would react, whether or not I would have to use the hot knife method or if I could just do it with an angle grinder. But I was able to get a really clean cut because this stuff like melts really, really fast, but essentially dries up like very stiff. So you could just break off all the little nubs like super easy, and it leaves you with a really clean edge. That's just like, again, the thought into the material that they used is awesome. So I actually did not need to secure it at the end because there is another bolt bar right here, and just the stiffness of the material itself is holding it very well in place where this isn't going to be flopping around. So now to get the car on the ground and see how it looks. Now I did have to kind of open the garage. Luckily there's a break in the rain where I can finally kind of stand back and really look at it. Get that vacuum cleaner out of the way. Really look at it. Dude, that thing is perfect. We got just the right amount of aggressiveness on the front end. Same with the sides. We got a nice, subtle, yet effective, little bit of a flared look. We have a slightly more, again, subtle, yet effective rear spoiler on it where it just extends just that bit. Now all we got to do is get these cell panels, find some of those trims, get the new windshield, and I think this car should be ready to drive after we do an oil change, just because that oil is a year old. So, but again, does Maker's Garage make awesome products, or do they make some awesome products? So let me know what you guys think on the front lip. I think they absolutely killed it. I can't wait to get this thing in some actual light to actually show you guys just how good it looks. It's pretty difficult to see it right now in the dark, but it looks great. So I think that's it for today. Just a quick little install on the lip. It was super simple. It took me about an hour just doing it by myself. You don't need a whole lot of special tools. Again, all you need is a drill bit, and a wrench. Makers provides everything else. They gave me more than enough hardware of the clips and the screws so I could do this again. So let me know what you guys think. Write it down in the comments. I'll get some more pictures of this thing, post it on my Instagram. With that, peace.